Smart young man. Our player of the week for week number 8 from John Curtis Christian School is Colin Guggenheim, a senior in commitment to West Point. Guggenheim rushed 14 times for 314 yards and 4 touchdowns as the top-ranked Patriots whipped Holy Cross 62-31 to remain unbeaten. Guggenheim is coached by J.T. Curtis. J.T.'s right now with his mom, who's being attended to in the hospital. Our prayers with them as we speak, but we'd like to recognize Jeff Curtis, who's here today to recognize John Curtis. Jeff, take a bow. And we'd like to recognize, of course, Rodney and the family that are here today. Take a bow as well. This award is sponsored by Mike Benge and Delacroix Corporation. Our player of the week for week number 8 from John Curtis Christian is Colin Guggenheim. Colin?
First off, I'd just like to thank my parents. Without them, none of this would be possible. All the great life lessons that they teach me. Also, I'd like to thank John Curtis for a great 4 years and just being a part of that program and that legacy that Coach JT has built over there is really something special. A lot of people don't realize, but Coach JT has had many stories and just learning so many life lessons from him and being able to carry that throughout life and being able to apply that in everyday life, just, I can't be more thankful for that. I'd like to thank all the sponsors and everybody that came to attendance today. This is truly a great event. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Basketball?
Yes.
And baseball?
Yes.
Track? Whatever?
Yes.
Go Army, beat Navy?
That's right.
Next year. Our player of the week for week number 9 from Slidell High is Arlen Dixon, a senior in Louisiana Tech commit. Dixon had 18 carries for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns, caught 3 passes for 73 yards and a 4th touchdown in a 36-20 win over Fontainebleau. By the way, Dixon also completed a pass for 17 yards and for good measure had a couple of tackles on defense at safety. Arlen is coached by Larry Favre. Larry, take a bow. I want to recognize the family members as well. Please take a bow too. And this award is sponsored by Paul Mayorel and WSLA AM and now FM too. From Slidell High School for week number 9, Arlen Dixon of Slidell.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank God because without Him, nothing that I do would be possible. And then secondly, I'd like to thank my parents. I'd like to thank Coach Favre for striving me every day at practice to become the best player and man I could possibly be. I'd like to thank my players for pushing me. I'd like to thank everybody that supported this event. And God bless y'all. Thank you.
Our player of the week for week number 10 from Riverside Academy is Gage Larvadane. A junior, Larvadane completed 9 of 17 passes for 118 yards and a touchdown, rushed 24 times for 136 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Rebels upset Country Day 36-35 in a thriller. Larvadane is coached by Kevin Dizer. Kevin, if you're here, take a bow. I also want to recognize Gage's family members who are here today as well. This award is sponsored by Dr. Benny Jones. Our player of the week for week number 10 from Riverside Academy, Gage Larvadane. Gage?
First, I'd like to thank my parents and my uncle. I love y'all. Thank y'all for everything y'all do for me. And next, I want to thank Coach KD and the whole Riverside Academy for having faith in me. I look forward for next year. Thank you.
15 assists in the next game, right? Yeah, something like that. Point guard. Not too shabby. Our player of the week for week number 11 from Covington is Edgerrin Cooper, a senior. Cooper had 2 interceptions, returning 1 for a touchdown, returned a fumble for a touchdown, and he rushed for a touchdown offensively. As number 23 Covington went on the road and upset number 10 Sam Houston 42-28 in the opening round of the Class 5A state playoffs. Cooper had 8 tackles, including 2 for loss, and broke up a pair of passes as well. Maybe he'll tell you where he's going to college. He had committed originally to Oklahoma, and he's got some other thoughts now as well. And he is coached by Greg Salter. Greg, if you're here, take a bow. I also want to recognize Edgerrin's family members here today as well. This award is sponsored by Kevin Keinel, attorney at law. Our player of the week for week number 11 from Covington is Edgerrin Cooper. Edgerrin.
I would like to thank my parents, family, and friends for all the support and work they did for me. And I'd like to thank my great teammates and great coaches for a wonderful 4 years at Covington High.
Congratulations, Edgerrin. For week number 12, our player of the week from McDonough 35 is Stephen Williams. A senior, Williams carried 28 times for 278 yards and a touchdown as McDonough 35 defeated Lake Charles College Prep 22-14 in the second round of the Class 3A state playoffs. Williams is coached by Wayne Reese. Wayne, take a bow. And Dags, thank you as well. Good to have you here. And of course, want to recognize Stephen's family members here today also. This award is sponsored by Michael and Linda Green and Lifegate Ministries. For week number 12, from McDonough 35, Stephen Williams.
First off, I'd like to thank God and my mom and my dad. They couldn't be here because of their busy jobs, but I got my grandmother and my aunt in the back. And I'd like to thank Coach Reese and Coach Dags for a wonderful 4 years at McDonough 35. I wouldn't ask for nothing better. I mean, Coach Reese, you were one of the best coaches I ever played for. Thank you.
I think he just got hired on the staff here in a couple of years. Way to go. Week number 13, our player of the week from Carr High School is Leonard Kelly. Kelly completed 15 of 17 passes, kind of like Drew Brees, 266 yards and 5 touchdowns. And he rushed 4 times for 43 yards and 2 more touchdowns. As Carr defeated Breaux Bridge 51-14. Kelly is coached by Bryce Brown. Bryce, take a bow. I'd like to recognize his family members as well that are here today. And this award is sponsored by Rowan Mary Brown from the Carr Cougars. Week 13, Leonard Kelly. Leonard.
How y'all doing? I want to thank God, my coaches, my family, and the Carr program for teaching me everything that I know, and believing in me, and finishing strong with me. And I just want to thank them again, and thank y'all.
For week number 14, our player of the week from Warren Easton is Ashad Clayton. Clayton rushed 17 times for 274 yards and 4 touchdowns. As Warren Easton upset number 1 seed Lakeshore on the road, 64-55 in the Class 4A semifinals. He's a Colorado commit. He's coached by Jerry Phillips. And the award is sponsored by Tony Stoltz, CPA. Could not be with us today, but we recognize and congratulate Ashad Clayton of Warren Easton High School. And our final recipient for week 15 from St. James, Shamar Smith. A senior, Smith completed 14 of 19 passes for 229 yards and 2 touchdowns. He rushed 12 times for 71 yards and 2 more scores, and for good measure caught a 20-yard touchdown pass as St. James completed an undefeated season at 15-0, defeating Jennings 51-14 to win the Class 3A state championship. A UTSA commit. Smith is coached by Robert Valdez. Robert, take a bow. I'd like to recognize Shamar's family members as well, being with us today. This award is sponsored by Linda Slayton and Dockside Lyman Incorporated. Our player of the week for week 15 from St. James is Shamar Smith.
First of all, I want to thank God. I want to thank my parents and my coaches and my teammates for this opportunity. And I also thank St. James for the amazing 4 years I had and trusting me with the program. And also thank Coach Val for giving me the keys for the offense. And I'm thankful for being here. Thank you.